SCORE Northeast Wisconsin and WHBY are pleased to bring you Biz Talk, a chance for you to hear from entrepreneurs and professionals as they share their experiences. From starting to sustaining growth, learn the skills needed for your business to be successful. If you miss anything, you can catch the Biz Talk podcast at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. And now from the Myron Construction Studio, it's Biz Talk on WHBY.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Biz Talk with SCORE here on WHBY. Hopefully you all are staying warm on this very, very chilly weekend here in Northeast Wisconsin. My name is Mary Rhode, and I am thrilled to be joined here today by a new voice, well, not a new voice to Biz Talk, but a new co-host voice to our Biz Talk with SCORE podcast, Barb LaMue. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for asking, Mary.
Yeah, why don't you just give everyone just a quick little intro here on yourself and what you're doing here now in retirement.
Okay, thank you, Mary. I recently retired as president and CEO of the New North, and currently I'm helping out, just volunteering back in the community. I serve on one international board and 8 other boards and work with SCORE. And so my husband jokes that I'm as busy now as I was when I was working at New North, but it's fun. Everything is great. Thank you, Mary.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we, just on behalf of the entire Biz Talk team, we are so excited to have you join us as a co-host here, once a quarter, here throughout the year, you will hear Barb's voice on the airwaves here and through your podcast platform speakers. So we are so thrilled to have her expertise and her knowledge and her community connection to be a part of this Biz Talk show and the exciting future that we have ahead of us. So with that, I am going to introduce everyone to our amazing guest today. We are so honored and humbled to be joined by Natalie Nelson. Natalie is the Executive Director of Women in Technology Wisconsin. Good morning, Natalie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for letting me be here. I'm so excited for the opportunity, and I can't wait to share a whole lot more about Women in Technology Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. We are, let's jump into it here and let's let people know certainly a little bit more, about you and your background and kind of how you came into this role as Executive Director of Women in Technology Wisconsin. And then certainly we will move right into bringing more awareness to the organization and how folks can get engaged.
Oh, I'm so excited. So a little bit about me. As you mentioned, I am the Executive Director of Women in Technology Wisconsin. I am their first Executive Director and their first employee, which is a pretty exciting opportunity for myself and for the organization. Prior to coming to Women in Technology, my background was quite diverse, but always in the marketing technology space. I grew up in a military family. My dad was in the Navy. My mom was a teacher. So, leadership and science and STEM was kind of part of my DNA. I went to UW-Madison for my undergrad and fell in love with business. Really enjoyed all that is business and technology. And over the course of 25 years, I've spent so much time with local organizations like Oshkosh Corporation, Ascension, Aaron's Company, spending some time in that marketing technology space. While in being invested in the community, I also saw a huge opportunity to help women grow in leadership, grow in professional development, and just create an amazing network of people. And as I'm, building my career, I had this amazing opportunity with Women in Technology. They were looking for someone to help start a business, transform it from a nonprofit that was focused on just a couple of different regions to scaling it and helping it grow. So it's been an incredible opportunity. I joined just under 3 years ago, and I'm proud to say that we have grown tremendously in the last 3 years, and we have a lot more growth ahead of us.
So let's talk about that growth a little bit, and certainly congratulations on being that first executive director. Certainly, no big shoes to fill, but certainly big opportunity ahead of you to kind of set that path forward for yourself and for the organization. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about Women in Technology Wisconsin, or WIT Wisconsin, as you may hear us refer to from time to time here today. But tell people a little bit more about it, its history, how it started, its purpose, things like that.
Absolutely. So we are a statewide organization. We are a 501(c), which simply means we are a nonprofit. We focus on providing support across, actually it's the state of Wisconsin, but we bleed over into the other regions as well, because there aren't actually organizations like ours in the borders around us. So who are we? Our mission is to help attract, grow, and retain girls and women into the tech space. So we do that by building a strong tech pipeline of talent across the state of Wisconsin. We get the work done through 4 regions. The area that we're in right now, which is the Northeast region. We have the Milwaukee region, we have the Madison region, and we have what we call our central region, which is the Northwoods surrounding Stevens Point, La Crosse, Eau Claire. It's very massive. So those are the regions in which we get the work done. And then the areas, if you think of like a business, the products, if you will, are WIT for Girls, which is where we focus on K through 12 education, hands-on learning, activities, showing what it looks like to be a woman in STEM. Then we have our middle pillar, which is WIT on Campus, which is focused on mentorship and getting into the universities and institutions that allow our girls to explore what STEM is and what technology is, and then help bridge them to that first career, which takes us to our third pillar, which is WIT at Work, which is focused on that professional and personal development of a woman in her career all the way through retirement. So we are there to create an incredible network of support, right? We're also there to provide professional development, partnering with local organizations and community partners to help her be successful through her many different seasons of life.
Natalie, can you talk a little bit about the changing gender demographics? Are you seeing more women getting into technology fields, retaining them in that field, or what are you experiencing?
So the data is matching what we're seeing in the Northeast Wisconsin region. We see about 30% of women are in the workforce for technology. So that number has kind of gone down and it's kind of come up, but overall it's between 25 and 30% of women in the STEM workforce. Unfortunately, we see that number cut in half right around the age of 35. So we spend all this amazing time and energy getting women into the tech workforce, but then unfortunately we are seeing some abandonment right around the age of 35.
And why do you think that is? What's that magical about mid-30s?
Right. So for a woman in her 30s, a lot of things are happening, right? We are choosing to have children, or we are having the opportunity to care for our parents, right, as they're going through their transitions. So there's a lot that happens right around the age of 35 for a woman. When women choose to have children, there's many barriers that come with childcare. Not immune to the state of Wisconsin, but the rising cost of childcare, the lack of ability to get childcare are major barriers for women. And although we've come hugely far in society for women and their ability to be in the workplace, we still have light years to go in order for women to feel the same kind of support as our male counterparts.
Thank you.
So, you mentioned operating as a nonprofit, which is a world that Barb and I are both incredibly familiar with. And we know that in those nonprofit spaces, you're very much board supported. And I know we'll touch on that a little bit more here later in the episode here today. But I know you have a great team around you immediately as well. So if you'd like to kind of give them a little bit of a shout out and who's around you and supporting you in this effort to move WIT Wisconsin forward.
I think that's what's so special about our organization is we're powered by volunteers. I am the only paid employee. We have 45 board members between our state board and our 4 regional boards. That's how we get our amazing work done. We are a powerhouse of people that work together through strong communication processes and a strong programming plan. Those amazing 45 board members work with subcommittees and volunteers in our community to truly create this like snowball effect of impact, right? It starts with one person and then they find other people that are interested in the topic and then they host events or they go speak at a school and so forth. So although there's 45 amazing board members, our reach is about 8,000 committed volunteers.
Natalie, can you talk a little bit about how you're supported by industry? If they're not on the board, are there opportunities for them to sponsor events or sponsor the organization or allow apprenticeship opportunities inside their companies? Can you speak to that?
Oh, and that's such a great question because I think that's an area of opportunity for us to grow even further. we've been around for 10 years. I didn't mention that yet, but we just celebrated our 10th year anniversary, and my goodness, have we changed in 10 years. But in the past 2 years specifically, we've spent a lot of time developing what I call community alliances. So partnering with organizations such as the New Digital Alliance, such as the Boys and Girls Clubs, such as the Girl Scouts, such as organizations like Molson Coors or Microsoft or Thrivent. And what we're doing in those moments is we're creating really strong partnerships. Yes, there's sometimes financial compensation, but sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's just allowing us to host our event at their facility. But it's coming together with those industry partners to think about how are we going to build a stronger tech pipeline to talent in Wisconsin? We know we have talent here. How do we make sure that they not only grow from that K through 12 and we foster them through mentorship, but then they stay here, and we keep them happy and we grow their family in this continuum of life. So yes, we spend quite a bit of time working with anyone and everyone that is an interest in helping grow the tech footprint in Wisconsin.
Thank you.
So I was just going to ask, with those partnerships and understanding again, and I guess reminding our audience that you are a statewide organization, do you have certain goals that you set for kind of each, I'll say, quadrant of the state for maybe those bucket list partners in each of those areas of the state, or a certain number of partners in each area of the state to, again, continue to move the organization forward and accomplish what you need to and want to?
We do. The way we get our work done is we have a unified business plan. So our business plan looks at it as an entire state. How are we going to grow our reach and impact across the state of Wisconsin, right? Our mission is to help attract and retain girls and women across the state. Our vision is to no longer have this organization, essentially, right? Where we don't have to have these conversations. The way we get our work done is we set a baseline plan for the year, right? So like this year we had multiple goals. One of them was to improve our programming, very tactical, right? Like we just needed to standardize what kind of programming we're going to provide across the 3 pillars. So like, what does it look like to come to an event in the Northeast? Will it look the same in the Southeast? Will it look the same in the South Central? So that's one small piece of a bigger goal for programming to help us standardize across the state, so that if you, Mary, decide to go to the Northeast event for Wit at Work, and then you go to the Southeast, you're going to have a similar experience. You're going to leave with the same kind of fulfillment. You're going to leave with that same kind of culture, that sense of belonging, as well as education and networking and professional development and all these other great things. So we really do set the stage at the state level of identifying what our mission and our objectives are for the year and our strategic plan. And then we execute those through our 4 regions.
So I'm sure some may be wondering, listening to you share about all of the things that you do, certainly I'm still understanding that you are very volunteer based, but yet at the end of the day, everything has a cost. Things take money and many hands, right? How, or I guess, can you talk us through kind of your funding model, sponsors, donations. You have a store that people can access through your website. So talk us through some of that funding and fundraising efforts that come along with being a nonprofit organization.
Absolutely. So all of our revenue is local. So we don't get any federal funding. It's all private donations, either through individual donors. It's through sponsorship donations. It's through the store that you mentioned. We have a small e-commerce store that we stood up in the past year to be more creative in terms of generating revenue. As you can imagine, as a nonprofit, especially a service organization, it's really difficult to generate funds on your own. You're selling a service, essentially. We're selling a service through volunteer support. And then in return, we get cash, right? So the largest for us currently revenue source is through our sponsors, through corporate sponsors that choose to partner with us. And then as a give back, we do quite a bit of marketing for them. We also do job shadow events, and we do a lot of professional developments for that corporation. So we're helping to instill that education in that workforce.
Okay. Well, I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to take our first break here of this episode. You are listening to Biz Talk with SCORE on WHBY, and we'll be back after these messages.
Welcome back to Biz Talk with SCORE here on WHBY. Today, co-host Mary Rhode and I are joined by Natalie Nelson of Wit, Wisconsin. Before we get back into the conversation, I'd like to give you a very quick overview of SCORE. SCORE Northeast Wisconsin serves an 18-county area in Northeast, plus the county of Menominee in Michigan. We have over 50 volunteers, each an expert in their field, offering entrepreneurs no-cost and confidential mentoring. Those areas of expertise include IT, social media, marketing, cash flow, accounting, strategic planning, workflow, HR, retail, best practices, and many others. In order to register for a no-cost confidential mentoring session and or to learn more about SCORE, visit our website at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. You can learn more about how the SCORE chapter can assist you with starting and or growing your business, and you can complete an application for a mentoring session. Simply complete the online form and submit it to us. Within a few days, a SCORE mentor will be contacting you to set up a meeting. Please remember, SCORE is no cost and offers experts on who can offer you assistance in many different areas. So please get started by visiting our website, score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. To support small businesses, SCORE Northeast Wisconsin is always looking for new mentors. If you have experience that you would like to share with others, we'd love to talk to you about it. We welcome volunteers with experience in all aspects of business. Small business owners need your help, and your experience can make a huge difference to their success. So please go to that website, click on a volunteer button, and fill out a very short application, and we will get back to you to explain more. And finally, the Biz Talk with SCORE podcast brings you the same real-world information and insights from experienced entrepreneurs and business leaders, just like Biz Talk with SCORE on WHBY. However, Talk with SCORE podcast is available to you whenever you are. So listen and subscribe today, tomorrow, or whenever you would like. It is available on most podcatchers and podcast applications. Thanks again for joining us on Biz Talk. And now let's kick it back to Mary and Natalie.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Barb. All right, Natalie. So coming off of that first segment of our episode here today, folks got to hear a lot from you about WIT Wisconsin, who you are and what you do. But for me, selfishly, being a marketing and communications person, by trade as my day job, I'm always fascinated to learn, how people are doing marketing these days. And for nonprofits, certainly, again, just in my professional job as I do, my 9 to 5 every day is in a nonprofit. And so I understand that it is, challenging sometimes to tackle, those marketing and communication, to-do lists and to ensure that you're making yourself known in this very cluttered world out there of how to let people know about you. So where is WIT Wisconsin at right now as far as marketing and communications? What are those things you're doing, things maybe you want to do or aspire to do?
Absolutely. Marketing is near and dear to my heart, right? Having been a digital marketer and starting my career in that space. I think it's a challenge right now for us. We are doing the very best we can, but with limited resources and being powered by volunteers, it's definitely an opportunity. We have so many amazing events and so many stories to tell, but we haven't always done the best job of capturing those stories and sharing them in ways that are effective with our audiences. And that is something we're working on. Right now, we're trying to find an agency of record to partner with us on a pro bono state to help us share those stories, capture some B-roll, and help us really showcase what is WIT Wisconsin. We have so many great stories to tell. It's just the time it takes to capture the photography, write the scripts, all the great work that goes on behind the scenes as a marketer. There's a lot of talent that goes into making marketing come alive. And truly understanding the product that is women in technology, right? So, things like our annual report, we work on our annual report starting now, and then we have it go live in June, which does such a great job of showcasing the thousands of people we impact every year, men, women, boys, girls, and the communities across the state. So our annual report's coming up. That's something that's top of mind for all of us as we're trying to scramble a little bit, collecting all the stories and all the photos from the year. And of course, we have our numbers that are top of mind, but transforming them into a beautiful story that we can then share with our community is is something that always takes a little bit of work. And something that people can do to help us out from a marketing standpoint is share our posts. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we've recently joined Instagram, and reach is everything, right? There's something for everyone within women in technology. And we just would love people's support by just sharing our posts.
Natalie, could you share a little bit about your pillars, WIT for Girls and WIT on Campus and WIT at Work? What is that all about?
Yeah, I am happy to tease them a little bit, and then I would love to dive in deeper too when we have time. So the three pillars, if you think of like the continuum of our lives, right? We're born, and then we have this amazing life, and then we retire. And so that K through 12, that time where a woman or a girl is going from the kindergarten, learning to write their name for the first time to that 12th grade where they're trying to figure out what they're going to do for a career and how they're going to take over the world. We call that our WIT for Girls pillar. And that's where we spend some time helping to nurture her and show her what's possible within the STEM world. Our middle pillar is our WIT on Campus, which is focused on the girl as she transforms like a butterfly from high school to trying to decide how she's going to make money in that first career. So that window of time where she's either going to a 2-year institution, a 4-year institution, she's taking online courses to be successful. And we provide quite a bit of opportunity there. And then our last pillar is WIT at Work, where we focus on that, creating that sense of community. With only 30% of women in tech, it's often that a woman is the only in the boardroom or is the only in the tech team. And so we want to create this really great space for women and men to come together and talk not just about technology and the advancements and, quantum computing. We talk about these great, really amazing, rich topics, but we also provide a space to be human and to talk about leadership development and work-life balance or lack thereof. So those three pillars is truly where we're working to create a safe educational place for women and men across the state of Wisconsin to not only talk about tech and advanced tech for the state of Wisconsin, but also have a place, a community for people to just be real.
So that was great. That was a great tease. You're good. So we're going to let people tune in, stay tuned to us here as we head into commercial break here and learn more about those pillars in our next segment. So you are listening to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY, and we will be right back. And welcome back to another episode of Biz Talk with Score here on WHBY. My name is Mary Rhode. I am joined by my co-host this morning, Barb LaMue, and of course our amazing guest, Natalie Nelson with WIT Wisconsin. Really quickly, as a reminder, Biz Talk is available on any of the podcast platforms. You certainly, after you hear this episode on WHBY, just a few short days after that, you can head to wherever you get your podcasts and listen to both this episode with Natalie and any of our other archived episodes. Also be sure to hit that notification bell so you get alerted when those new episodes drop, again, on whatever platform you get your podcasts. All right, Natalie. We've been talking throughout this entire episode about women in technology. What are some of those careers that are available in the technology space? I think it's something that has been changing drastically as the days and weeks and years fly by here. So can you name what are some of those top careers that people can aspire to?
Well, I think that's the exciting part. Like, if you're looking at girls today, or kids in school, the jobs that they're going to do in the tech space haven't been invented yet. And I think that's what's so exciting about tech right now and why we're spending so much time infusing the excitement around STEM, right? The science, the technology, the problem solving, the innovating, the running into problems and figuring out how to creatively come up with new solutions. Because of the advancements in technology right now and the amount of churn we're seeing in the tech space, it's going to produce all these amazing opportunities that haven't even been invented. And I think to me, that's what's so exciting. That's what every single day I come to work and I can't wait to see, how is this girl going to shape the world with her creative way of looking at binary coding? But to answer your question more specifically, we're seeing all sorts of new jobs, right? Like the evolution of the workplace, the evolution of how we get our work done with large language models. It's changing. Everything we do is changing. And it's a very exciting time to be leaning into tech. I mean, you're seeing things such as moving from project management to product management. You're still seeing jobs like the VAs, business analysts. There's so much opportunity within the tech space. Marketing, I feel like marketing, again, wearing my marketing hat for a couple seconds, the entire way we do our work in marketing is changing. The amount of time we would take to write copy, for example, we can be using our time to think through the strategy of the copy and less time tactically writing every single word down. So we can spend our time more strategizing and problem solving versus the tactical piece. So I could talk about jobs all day long. There's so many that are advancing. I mean, with all the new data centers coming in, the influx of jobs that are going to be coming for each of those, right? An electrician to work at a data center, we're pulling them from all over the place to come support these data centers right now. So jobs are abundant.
Natalie, before the break, you teased us a little bit about your pillars, and I believe the first one was Wit for Girls. Can you talk about some of the innovative programming that you've provided to get our younger female population interested in tech?
This is my favorite pillar. I'm not going to lie. It's like, you're not supposed to have your favorite kid, but I do have my favorite pillar. Wit for Girls is such an incredible pillar, and we are just scratching the surface on what we are capable of doing as an organization. I'm very excited for the Northeast to experience one of our signature programming events. It's coming up on February 26th at Schneider. It's called our Bites and Bites event, BITES and BYTES. And it's going to be an exciting, really great opportunity for caregivers, mom, dads, grandparents, sisters, brothers to come and bring their child with them and do a hands-on activity. We have these little stations where the kids can go through and learn how to put together a Lego. And, the joy of a Lego is you're creating something and problem solving. We're going to do binary bracelets where they can understand 0-1 coding, right? And how a loop works. We will also have a focus area on cyber savvy kids where we understand the brilliance that comes with AI and technology, but sometimes we need to pause and think through the security risks and the risks in general of technology and make sure that we're taking those very seriously as we're teaching children the power that comes with this technology that's now in the palm of your hand. So that's a very exciting Bites and Bites event that's coming up for the state of Wisconsin, but more specifically, we're bringing to Northeastern Wisconsin just this next month.
It's awesome. That is so cool. Natalie, I think you had also talked about WIT on campus. And so can you describe for us some of the connections you have to our higher educational institutions?
So our WIT on campus is evolving. It is probably, of our pillars, the one that's experiencing the greatest amount of change right now. And the reason why is because we're seeing so much change in the tech space, right? The careers are changing so very quickly. We spend a lot of time, it's kind of like a two-pronged approach. One, we spend a lot of time with mentoring. We have a software tool that we pay for that allows us to match girls in their college years with their interests and hobbies and where they're wanting to explore in the tech space with then professionals in our community. So we have people from Microsoft and Google and Thrivent. We also have people from smaller local communities that are also in our mentor database. And so we pair those together and we do a 3-month cohort of mentorship to give these women a great opportunity to ask the tough questions like, what is it like in your first job? Like, what do you wear in your first day of work? But also the harder questions on, do I really want to be a BA? What does that look like? So we're doing this really strong mentoring program to help her feel fulfilled when she's in that kind of vulnerable time period of trying to figure out what that first career is going to look like. We also spend a lot of time at WIT on campus partnering with the local institutions, Fox Valley Technical College, Northwest Technical College, are incredible organizations in our community to provide, just workshops on site. We have one coming up very soon that's not even on our website around cybersecurity for that age group, right? Helping them understand, again, the risks that come with being in the tech space. So it's that two-pronged approach. Mentorship is WIT on campus. And then we heavily spend a lot of time working with the college institutions to provide workshops and hands-on learning.
That's great. And then finally, you also talked about WIT at Work. Can you fill us in a little bit about some events and your brand ambassadors?
Yes. So our WIT at Work pillar is our showiest pillar, if you will, right? That's what you hear in the media. That's what you see on social media. That's what people talk about, right? because there's so much exciting things happening across the state. But in northeastern Wisconsin, we have, I think, 20 different events on our site right now. So witwisconsin.com/events. We have everything from Sip and Sinks, where we do a lot of networking, and those are exclusive for members. We want you to come have a cup of coffee. We limit it to like 15 people intentionally to give you that safe networking space. But then we also spend quite a bit of time with in-person activities to do, again, more professional development, learning about what's coming up in tech, AI, right? We just did one last week on how to navigate some of the career challenges with tech right now. In addition, we have virtual events that allow women from anywhere across the world to tune in to learn about these up and coming tech topics. So we spend a lot of time with professional development, but again, I can't emphasize enough how much the personal development is on having that place for women to come together and just be real.
So I know you touched a little bit on an upcoming event you have here in February, but there's one in particular that I know I've seen very frequently in my own LinkedIn feed and across social channels. And that's your AI in Motion series. And this is presented by Microsoft. Give us all the details and tell us about it. This sounds really fascinating.
So we are so very excited and proud to share. We kicked off a 5-part series called AI in Motion. We kicked it off actually in November. And it's the first of, again, 5-part series where we're really tackling the topics that are near and dear to everybody's heart around AI. So topics like unlocking innovation, that's the one that's coming up on February 18th. That's where we're going to spend a lot of time talking about not only agents, which we talked about back in November, but how to use them, how to build them, and how they're going to make our jobs ideally easier. But then we're going to spend some time in the future events talking about AI readiness. How do we achieve that AI readiness in our organizations? How do we staff properly through our AI talent event? And then last is around privacy. How do we make sure that the stuff we're putting out in AI is staying secure? How do we teach not only ourselves, but our employees and our businesses and our communities? You have to be careful what you put out there, and you have to understand the risks. And if you put it, your content in ChatGPT versus Gemini versus an enterprise structure, are the risks the same, or do they change depending on the LLM? So essentially, there's a 5-part series. Again, it's on our website. Costs are low for all of our events. Again, everything's subsidized by our sponsors. So the most you're going to ever see for an event is typically $40 for a non-member. Otherwise, we are a member organization, and those member fees are paying for participation in these type of events. The other event I did want to plug quickly too is around specifically for this Northeastern community. We just posted it on our website yesterday on February 25th. For those of you that are in the marketing space or the user experience space, it's called All My X's, and it's an event we've done a few times in the past. We do it typically right around Valentine's Day, and it's a really fun fireside type panel discussion where we talk through how how the experiences in technology are currently being built. So like the DX, the UX, the EX, the CX, all those types of roles, those are the X's, right? So we pull all those people together, and we really start talking about how those are changing today. So those are the 2 big event series I wanted people to be aware of in the community, because I think it's going to help us all be more intelligent in terms of what's coming down the pipeline for tech.
Well, I will say, you mentioned earlier that you're just getting going with marketing, but wow, your event names are on fire. They are on fire. I absolutely love them. Extremely clever, and that absolutely falls into marketing and promoting and awareness is when you have something catchy like that behind it. So kudos.
I have to give credit to my board members, right? So that's the beauty of our board members, and also a plug, right? If anyone's interested in the leadership opportunity or leaning more into marketing or finance or supporting Wick for Girls, we're always looking for strong leaders to join our boards with 45 board members. There's always an opening as the season comes to an end in June. So we're always looking for amazing community partners that want to fill in some of those gaps.
So as we have listeners today who themselves, or perhaps they have a daughter or granddaughter or niece or a female in their that they're close to in their life, and they hear you talk about all those different pillars, and again, either themselves or someone they know kind of fits into the age range of that audience for that particular pillar, what would you What would you say to them if they're sitting at home listening today and they're like, oh gosh, that sounds really interesting, but I'm not sure because I don't have a job in tech, or I don't know if I want to do tech, but gosh, it sounds interesting. What would you say to that person?
Well, I think tech is here, right? It's touching. I mean, if you're listening to the podcast right now, you're using some type of a device in order to stream it. So it's everywhere. And I think it never hurts to learn more, right? To open our views to more education, to learn more perspectives. I don't think it matters whether you're 100 years old or you're 7 or 8 years old, how to not only use tech, but how to use it safely. And I think if you're a kiddo, learning the risks that come with tech is really important. So I would encourage anyone and everyone to come to that Bites and Bites event. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good food, but the secret part is we're teaching them about the risks that come with tech. If the person was in their college years, I encourage them to come to any of our sip and sinks to learn what it is to be in tech, right? To kind of sample what it looks like to be a woman in tech and to see some of those giants in our community. And then for everyone else, come to any of our in-person events, any of them. It doesn't matter if you're in the tech space or not. We had an event back in October at Fox Valley Technical College. We focused on cybersecurity. We had people from every single HR, marketing, you name it, finance. We had people coming to this event and all of them left. There was so much rich feedback. I'm like, oh my God, the risks of cybersecurity today around hiring people, like the things people can do now with AI. Wow. I had no idea that was a possibility. Thank you for inviting me. I cannot wait to take this back to my company and make sure that we have better privacy, better practices so that when we're hiring people, we understand the risks and we can make sure we're hiring a real human being. So there's really a great opportunity for anyone if you have any interest in tech or wants to be smarter in the tech space.
Well, and I think that's kind of the common thread that I hope others are taking away here too with these pillars is the education component. And although, maybe for the WIT and girls programs, you're being a little secretive about it and they're learning as they're doing. But certainly for the others, I think just to your point of HR people and the role that AI is playing. And I think if anything, perhaps to your point too, people are going to learn and be educated that it doesn't have to be scary as long as you're aware, right?
100%. Awareness is key. And I think, the one last thing I want to plug is technology can feel very scary. Change is hard, right? And it's hard for us as humans in general because we're comfortable. When we're comfortable, things go smooth, right? When you go to a church or you go somewhere, you usually sit in the same seat every single time, right? Change is hard, but the reality is change is constant. And so the technology that's around us today that is still very new to most of us isn't going anywhere. It's going to continue to advance. So the best way to make it less scary is to learn more about it, to lean into the tech, not meaning that you need to sample every little thing and give all your information, but ask questions, make some smart problem-solving questions, educate yourself in community groups like Women in Technology. There are many other technology groups in the community. Lean in and learn more.
That is phenomenal advice. And the perfect segue here to our very last break of this episode. You are listening to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY. All right, welcome back to Biz Talk with Score here on WHBY. And this episode and certainly all of our other episodes would not be possible without the very generous support of the sponsors. Haling and Associates helps small businesses and individuals not just prepare tax returns, but plan for the future. Haling and Associates, personal connection, positive results. Wherever you are in life or the life of your business, Johnson Financial Group works to match the banking and wealth services needed to help you complete your mission. Thank you to the Business News for promoting our program in the bi-weekly business newspaper serving Northeast Wisconsin with the latest business news and topics for the region. We are grateful for the support of Community First Credit Union. At its core, CFCU is a community of member owners where people work together to improve their financial well-being and help one another. New North, the Regional Marketing and Economic Development Corporation, is an active supporter of SCORE and BizTalk. The New North facilitates economic growth and helps people in this region live their best lives. Since 1919, Baird has guided families through investment, trust, estate, and tax planning advice. So no matter what the future brings, you can be confident you're ready because your family is Baird's focus. We would like to recognize the David L. and Rita E. Nelson Fund within the Community Foundation for the Fox Valley region for their generous donation to BizTalk and SCORE Northeast Wisconsin. And again, just a general thank you to all of the sponsors who help us bring you BizTalk with SCORE each week here on WHBY and wherever you get your podcasts. Well, as we wrap up today's episode here with Natalie Nelson of Women in Technology Wisconsin, Natalie, hopefully people heard something today that triggered them to want to help and to want to get involved. So what are some of those options for folks sitting at home today or in their car listening who, they want to be educated, they want to support, they have maybe a young girl who just loves to build Lego and they want to kind of foster that and help her find her future career. What are some of those ways folks can get involved?
Well, there are quite a few different ways to get involved, right? Little to big. Small one is if people have things to donate, right? Silent auction donation items are huge for us. We are a very small financial footprint, if you will, for our organization. So we do a whole lot of money, do a whole lot with very little. So, if someone's willing to donate like a gift card or a basket of something, we are always looking for those that we can then raffle off when we have our in-person events. So that's a small, easy lift for people to give back. Another one is we look at all the local organizations in our community. So many of them have matching volunteer hours. So when we have amazing volunteers volunteer at our events, we are always encouraging them to reach back out to their organization to, submit those hours, which then provides the financial compensation for our organization. And then membership, right? We are founded by members, we are powered by members, and we are always looking for more people to join as a member, to be part of the community, to get the communications. And then we train you to then go into the community to make a greater impact. That's where the train the trainer comes in. So, and then another one is volunteering. As I mentioned, a couple different ways is coming to an event. We have multiple events coming up across the state. If people go to the website and they're like, oh, that kind of sounds fun. I don't know exactly about women in tech, but I want to get involved. Send me an email, info@whitwisconsin.com, and we can connect you with that region to get you set up to help volunteer for that event. Another way is, let's say that you are a leader with the Girl Scouts. Send me an email. I'm doing one with the Kimberly School District in just a few weeks. We're going to do some binary bracelets. We're going to do some exploring with Legos. So there's so many ways to get involved. And then last, but certainly not least, is sponsor. We are completely powered by private donations through corporate funding and through individual donations. You can either sponsor us at a mission level or an event level. A couple $100 goes a really long way for us. Or if you have event space that we could help host a Wit for Girls event at your location at no cost. Those small things really add up for us, and they make a huge difference and allow us to put on more programming. Another area that we are very much in looking for support is marketing, right? If you're a marketer and you have interest in helping us create social media posts or have a passion in videography and could help us capture some of the B-roll at some of our events and help us transform that into an amazing video, that's something that's top of mind for us to help us with the storytelling. So those are just some quick ways to give back. And then I did want to give a really big shout out to our amazing community. I mean, the state of Wisconsin is truly a remarkable place. Not only do we have brilliant people, but we have caring community people. And I just want to give a big call out to like I said, the 45 board members. We have over 50 sponsors across the state. And then we have over 800 members, and those members have to sign up year after year. So they're active members. And then we have close to 8,000 followers in our community. So a huge thank you to all those amazing people that allow us to be here today.
So if somebody heard that and they're like, yes, sign me up. What is kind of that best way, that resource? I'm sure it's going to be your website, but if there's anything else you'd like to put out there as a way that someone can get the information, get in touch, donate, whatever that may be, what's that best avenue for them?
So our backbone to everything is our website. So it's witwisconsin.com. That's where you can go to donate, to learn how to volunteer, to read some informational and tech updates. Or info@witwisconsin.com is my email address, or our core email address. And if you have questions or want to just get more involved and aren't sure where to start, just send me an email and I'm sure we can figure something out.
Great. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us today and for informing everyone and myself certainly too about WIT Wisconsin and the phenomenal work that you're doing with women and girls in tech space. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome to see that forward progress and momentum. Thanks again to Barb LaMue, my co-host here today as well. And until next time, this was Biz Talk with Score on WHBY.